Yeah.
So the slaves should start having a seat.
Now, eventually, when you read in Revelation 13 and 10, it says that it's going to reverse back. Although slavery happened a long time ago, things like that, but it's like whatever Galatians 6 and 7. When you read, we're Hebrew Israelites. And if you look at the sign right here, the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. Now,
That's what you're telling me, is that I'm not one of God's people?
I'm telling you, only the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Why?
Does that sound fair?
What is not fair?
I thought God loved everybody equally.
All right. Hold on. Give me Romans
My God loves everybody.
9:13. All right. We're gonna find out about love, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna read in the Bible. It says God is love, right?
Yeah.
God is love.
Love and tolerance towards all.
Okay. We're gonna go into it and find it about, because sometimes, God will tell you specifically what He does and what He likes and what He doesn't like. Does He like people? Does He like people to smoke?
Phải nói chuyện lại phải nhiều người hãy tỏ.
I mean, He doesn't dislike me for it.
And you think smoking is good for you or bad for you?
I'm pretty sure it's bad.
It's bad for you, right? So, God doesn't like you to smoke. So it's bad, right?
He doesn't like me anyway because I'm white.
Are you white?
Yeah, I'm white. I'm very white.
You're white?
Blonde hair, blue eyes. Just like the picture of Jesus that you said.
Okay, what is?
He doesn't have blue eyes. Yeah, they do look a little blue, don't they?
Yeah. But we don't need an image like that.
So you're
Even portraying in the movies and stuff.
That's down there because you're showing us what Jesus doesn't look like.
Exactly.
What
All right. You want to know? You want to hear what it looks like? Okay, Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. So we're gonna go in the Bible right now, and we're gonna find out what Jesus Christ looked like. We don't need the movies and pictures and all that stuff to show what Christ looked like. Didn't He walk the earth? Didn't people touch Him and spoke to Him? Yeah, we weren't there, but people saw Him, right? People flocked to Him. But this is what it looked like. Revelation 1 and 1.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
That's right. It says the revelation of Jesus Christ. This is John the Revelator. He saw Christ. Yeah. He saw Christ in the heavens. And He's going to describe what it looks like. He said the revelation of Jesus Christ.
His head and His hairs were white like wool, as white as snow.
That's right. Jesus Christ's head and His hairs were white like wool. Woolly textured hair, right? You get it? Wool?
White is describing the color, not the texture.
No, yeah, he says it's white. Like wool. That means it's wool texture.
Wool is white. No, white like wool.
Yeah.
White is describing the color.
White is describing the texture, and wool is describing the texture.
White like wool would be white as in describing the color of it. It would be white and woolish. Like the texture.
No, he didn't say woolish, he said wool.
It would say the texture of wool was describing the texture.
You see,
He's
his hair is woolly, right? And black people hair is woolly. Okay, keep reading.
And His eyes were as a flame of fire, and His feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
That's right. In describing His feet, Jesus Christ's feet, as if they're burned in a furnace, like brass. What's the color of brass?
Brass. Would that be the actual color? Brass?
Brass is like brown, right? And when you take it and put it in the furnace and you burn it, what color does it look like?
Is it?
No, when you read 1 and 1, the revelation of Jesus Christ, he's saying who is revealing to, but when he's describing Him, he has white woolly hair and dark skin. It didn't say he had white skin.
It says white light.
That's his hair. When it said, oh, the black man, he has white woolly hair. Like this brother right here, he's getting some of like gray hair and stuff like that. It's woolly, yeah, that's right. Woolly like Christ's hair when it gets completely white.
They have just for men for black people.
You're a funny guy. Even you laughing too, right? No, Christ didn't have just for men.
I'm actually crying on the inside because
You're crying, right?
God doesn't like me anymore.
Well, we're gonna find out. When you look at this picture right here,
I don't think that's right. What you're describing.
what's right?
I don't think.
We read it from the Bible. Don't you read the Bible?
I don't think it matters what color you are. Period. As far as
Romans 3.
Romans 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid.
So, according to the Bible right here, we're telling the truth and we're describing things about Christ and salvation for Israel. But what if some didn't believe it? Does it make it null and void? If some people believe, don't believe that there's an earth and sky and stuff like that, does it mean that it doesn't exist?
If they look like
not at all.
Huh?
Not at all.
It says God forbid.
Yeah. Say, ask you something real quick. When you was talking about, it's a shame that God don't love me. And we're going through what Christ looked like. Hold on one second. And we're going through the Bible, what Christ looked like. It's kind of funny when we're talking about Christ and people like to say, well, it doesn't matter what Christ's color is. But see, what you have is a renaissance. And when you have a renaissance, you take a certain history and then you put your face on it. And that's what your people did. Because in order to manipulate the truth, you must know the truth. So it ain't per se for color, but it's all about truth. And we were not given the truth. My ancestors was not given the truth. The so-called Native American Indians was not given the truth. Nobody was given the truth. They took a picture of a Caucasian man who was named Caesar Borgia. Then they came over here with that picture right there and slaughtered my ancestors, slaughtered the people over here, and raised this picture up and said that that was the Christ when that was not the Christ. Now, there's ancient pictures in 330 AD that shows Jesus Christ in the Hebrew tongue, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, as being a black man. And as a matter of fact, the people that was called niggers and hung was the same people that Jesus Christ came out of. And see, this is the kind of information that your people don't want to get out. Because if your people allow the history to be untampered with, then all black people will feel good about themselves.
The white man is the devil.
Exactly, you're right. You are the devil.
Yeah,
I don't need to remember you. You know why? Because you are come as a nation of deceivers.
The white man is the devil.
Devils. And
Yes,
that's what
sir.
they did. So when you're talking about, well, it's not fair, I think God should love us equal, does your Constitution see us equal? Am I 3/5 of a man? And you're a whole man?
I don't know what you're asking me, but you're right. Because we the fucking devil. Yes, sir. Amen.
Yo,
We good being the devil.
is he celebrating 422?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of weed in this air. You know what I'm saying? And that weed is the new true syrup. Because y'all know that y'all the devil. And y'all happy to be the devil.
I can't smoke it because I gotta take a piss test on Monday.
You gotta take this. So he's sober saying this. He's sober saying this.
Yeah, man.
But when you look at this, hold on. But when he's talking about
dumb fuck.
when he's talking about loving somebody equality, and do y'all love us equality? Is there equality?
You a faggot.
Is it? What is a faggot? What's a faggot?
You a faggot.
What's a faggot?
A faggot is a dumb motherfucker that's
No, a faggot is a bundle of sticks.
preaching on a
A faggot is a bundle of sticks.
That's right.
And see,
That's
this is your spirit. See, because the so-called white people is the devil, he has no choice but to act like this. He has no choice. Now I'm gonna get back to you. Now when we're talking about equality, do United States of America treat my people with the same equality?
That's really relative.
Oh yes, it's very, very relative. Because see, I could go to your neighborhood and I can see nice houses. I'll go to my neighborhood and see messed up houses. I can go to your neighborhood and get nice food. I go in my neighborhood and it's messed up food. Is that equal?
I'm from Mooresville, North Carolina.
Mooresville, North Carolina. Well, it's like that everywhere. Everywhere, when you find the ghetto, you find my people. But when you find the suburbs, your people's there. Is that fair?
There's black people in my neighborhood.
Oh, that makes it better. There's a couple black people escape and go to your neighborhood. But meanwhile, when my people live in your neighborhood, y'all think that, hey, y'all went down. Y'all came down. Y'all think that, hey, they came up in my, I must be doing bad. And then when y'all move in our neighborhood, y'all really flip out because y'all really think y'all terrible now. It's a D grade for y'all to come in my neighborhood and live. So is that equal?
I've been
Because not a minute ago you came up here, 5 minutes ago you came up here and you want everything to be equal. You wanted God to love, and meanwhile your nation ain't showed no love. Look at this land right here. Whose land does this belong to? Whose land does this belong to? No, it belongs to a people of the 10 tribes of Israel down, including my people. And this land was raped, robbed, and murdered by your people. And by you walking all up and down on this street, on this sidewalk, walking over the bones of my ancestors, you don't love us. You don't love us equally. Because if I stole from you, I'm supposed to give something back, right?
no.
If I stole from you, I'm supposed to give it back, right? Don't y'all have laws? Y'all will lock my behind up if I stole from you right now, beat you up, cut you, and stole your book bag. You will call the police right now and say, I got a black man who stole something from me, right?
That's probably how it is.
Exactly. Your people came over here, raped, robbed, and murdered, and stole this land. How come y'all don't follow the same rules that y'all like? Y'all right. Y'all wrote this. Y'all wrote the Constitution, y'all wrote laws, and to punish people who rape, who rob, who murder. Every time you look at those prison systems, what do you see? A bunch of crime, and it's funny. It's funny. All those crimes that is committed, that people has been convicted for in prisons, is the same crimes that built America. I'm confused. But yet, we supposed to be equal, and y'all can't even follow your own laws because y'all rape, robbed, and murdered. Y'all never gave this land back. Huh?
I went to jail.
How's everything been since we talked last?
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to think.
I said, how's everything been since we spoke last?
I stole a pizza from Papa John's.
I said, how's everything been since we spoke last?
Very nice.
Black people died. I got
For pizza, right? Alright. Are you sorry for slavery?
I'm not sorry for it. I didn't.
Everybody got their direction with their share, brother. Y'all share, these brothers share. Everybody share with
What do you think is wrong, right?
It's happened to white people too. Do you remember the Holocaust?
What the Holocaust? What about 100 million black and 77 million Native
I
Americans?
think every
Hispanic?
race has been enslaved at some point.
Every race?
You set yourself up with that one.
And
Tell me when
Yeah, correct.
whites were
You getting
enslaved.
to join in Daniel?
The Holocaust.
Women in the Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
He's right, but-
World War II.
Yeah, that's when
He's right, but he's not
in the Holocaust,
Sorry.
World War II, that's
It's
white
about sharing.
slavery.
Humble and meek, brother. Send you back.
That's white on white crime.
Hey,
You
right?
All right, take it easy, man.
know that? So what does it got to say about that?
About what?
The Holocaust.
That slavery is wrong.
No, but that wasn't slavery. That's just white on white crime.
Because, so you guys are just mad about the whites enslaving the blacks.
No, man.
That didn't even happen that long. That wasn't even that long of a period that it happened.
But it's 400 years, right?
They fixed
Yo,
it really
he's
quick.
like Russell. From
Fix it.
69
Who
Tracks.
fixed it?
I'm sorry, sir. That
Who
was
fixed it?
actually a white man. I think that was, in general, it was like, well, it was white and black people that helped stop slavery.
Help stop slavery?
It was a pretty big situation. I wasn't alive for it, but like watching TV and reading books and stuff like that.
Excellent.
There was like Martin Luther King Jr. I think he was a big activist as far as stuff.
But who killed Martin Luther King Jr.?
I think even
Who killed Martin Luther King Jr.? He was trying to hold hand in hand with so-called whites, but a white man ended up killing him.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because
let me just make a point, because you mentioned the Holocaust, right? And the Holocaust, like he said, it wasn't one nation or race of people enslaving another race or nation of people. It was, like he said, whites who destroyed and killed other whites. But at the same time, how you threw that out there and said, well, everybody's gone through it. Look at the Holocaust. Look at the Holocaust. They got reparations for that. To this day, they're still getting billions and billions of dollars sent over to Israel. And they're in a land that's not theirs.
Right.
So now, like he was
you
mentioning,
guys want reparations.
now at this point, we don't want it. But here's the point. Hold on. We were not.
You were not a slave.
Hold on. Here's the thing, right?
No, you.
Our ancestors,
As an individual.
our ancestors were slaves, right? But check this out. Those people who are over in Israel right now calling themselves Israelis, you got a generation that had not gone through the Holocaust. But guess what? They're still reaping the benefits of the billions and billions of dollars that's poured into their country.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, they are. So now, at the same time, this land, like he mentioned, was occupied by the Native American Indians, the Seminole Indians, the Arawak Indians. And they were then killed off by another race of people in their land. They're who?
The white.
Your ancestors, right? And they took the land and still occupied to this day. Where's their reparations? Where's their billions and billions of dollars? And this happened years before the Holocaust happened. No, they don't have. Where's their land?
Native Americans.
Where's their land? They occupy the whole land. They have a what? They are now pushed to a reserved area, right? When they once owned the whole land.
That's right.
And they wanted to share the land.
Cheap cigarettes.
Hold up, they wanted to share the land. Think about it, because you think, it seems women think that you're somewhat moral, right? Are you somewhat moral?
I have a moral compass.
You have a moral compass, right? So like how he said earlier, if he robbed you, you would want some form of justice for you, right?
You know what? I've been robbed by more black people than I have by white people.
And that may be the fact. But at the same time, when you got robbed, did you not want justice? Did you not want some kind of form of punishment or payback done to you for what happened to you? Yes, if
Done to them, you mean?
done to them, or justice or payback for you.
I wasn't really that worried about it. I'm pretty sure I was trying to cop dope.
So then you were trying to cop dope and they robbed you. So you was doing something evil anyway. You needed some kind of punishment upon you anyway, right? And you got it. You're right about that. You got it. But we're talking about just good. Someone that's just walking down the street and someone robs them or beats them for no cause at all.
I'm going to be one time about Hispanics.
Hold on. Let's leave the examples out. Let's just follow the train of thought, right? If you're just walking down the street as you're walking right now, and someone robbed and took your book bag and your watch, you had done nothing to them. Who would you think? What would you want to have happen? What would you want to have happen?
My watch was asleep.
What's your name? What's your name?
Alex.
Alex. Are you kind of, have you been drinking earlier, or are you under some influence?
I drank a pint at fucking 9 o'clock this morning.
And you haven't had anything, because I want to make sure that you're able to be coherent
Third
to
out.
follow the line of questioning.
He was third out.
You got high today, so maybe that's why you can't. It's kind of hard for you to focus on what we're trying to say. Basically what
It's not making very much sense.
I think it's may not making sense because you're probably high. That's why you can't stay focused on what I'm saying. It's a simple question. If you was robbed,
Would I want reparations?
would you want some form of reparations, some form of justice? Would you want your book bag back?
My book bag back.
Okay, so that's a form of justice. If someone took something from you, like he said, someone have to give it back to you.
So what is this about? Is this about Jesus being, you're pissed off that Jesus has been described as being white for all these years? Or is it because your ancestors were slaves and you want reparations for that? What is this about?
Oh, and give me 2 Corinthians. Give me 2 Corinthians 10:5. I'm not sure if you can. Our help comes from the Most High.
I might have had...
Our help comes from the Most High.
I'm just trying to say, I might have had... Listen, just hear me out for a second. I might have had ancestors. I've got a journey. I've got...
I'll be there.
I might have had ancestors that owned slaves.
Right.
I might have. I have no fucking idea.
I know
I don't have a racist person in my family.
I'm gonna hit you with something that's gonna probably go way over your head.
Okay.
You probably owned slaves in your former life. Through reincarnation. You probably have owned
Does
slaves.
everybody come back as the same race as they were?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Now what's
You
up?
gotta let-
That's a good point to make. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But let's
I'm saying, do you guys believe in reincarnation?
no, it's not that we believe this. The scriptures tell us about reincarnation or regeneration.
That's right.
All their New Testament. Jesus Christ even spoke about reincarnation or the regeneration. So this is not that we just believe it because I don't want it to be or to seem
I'm actually not a Christian, so this is like...
that, and you may be edified right now. And it's like I said, some things will probably go way over your head. But now going back to the point of what this is all about, give me 2 Corinthians 10 and 5.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God.
Against the knowledge of God. That's what we out here to teach, right? To edify the people about the knowledge of God. Most people don't know God, right? Like how you came up and said, well, I can't see how God doesn't like me, or God doesn't like a race of people, or God doesn't like this. It's because God does not like everything. God has emotions. The same way we have a feeling of hate, God has a hate. Give me Isaiah 45 and 7, right? This is what God said. This is going to kind of just expound upon why we living in the condition or world in which we're living in right now, right? Read that, Isaiah 45, 7.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
So peace and evil, right? Hatred comes from the Lord. That's all emotions. Those things that come from God. He created them. So when we speak about, oh, there's a possibility that the Lord hates people, that's scriptural. Give me Malachi 1 and 3. Right? This is what it said. We're about to get a little bit of edification about what the knowledge of God is.
Edification. What is that?
To make known, trying to edify you on things that you probably don't know about. Meaning, if 1 and 1 is 2 and you don't know that 1 and 1 is 2, I'm going to break it down for you in the simplest form so that you can understand why 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we're going to break it down in the simplest form that you can understand.
Bart Simpson style.
Bart Simpson style. Read that. Malachi 1 and 3.
Don't have a cow. Malachi chapter 1, verse 3. Cow. And
Come on, man.
I
Simpsons
hated
rep-
Esau,
You know that.
and laid his mountains and his heritage waste.
Start at 2.
I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
So this is the knowledge of God. God is speaking to a specific people. I'm not sure if you've ever had any information pertaining to the Old Testament, the laws of Moses, but the Lord had a chosen nation people that he chose to be above every other nation. That name is Israel, right? The name of that people is Israel. Some of them go by a name of, or term of Jew today. Those who say that they're Jewish does not fit the description, does not fit the history that you read about in the Bible. But the Lord is speaking to this people and saying, I have loved you. So this form of love that you were speaking about earlier, the Lord does have that. He does have love. But the love is supposed to be towards Jacob.
Oh, God.
Say it again?
See, God's not a person. You guys are describing God as a human being or a person.
No, no one said that he's a human being. He's in his realm. He's the supreme being, right? Omnipotent. Man is not like the Most High. We're not saying that the Most High is man, right? We're saying that he's the creator of everything. He's the first of all things, right? Before Christ came, the Most High was there. Before thought was a thought, the Most High was there. It tells you in Daniel that the Lord is the Ancient of Days. Before a day became a day, the Lord was there way before then. So we can't even conceptualize what the Most High truly in his essence is. But the knowledge that he's given us, the record, as it tells you in 1 John, is right here in the Bible. That's why we're reading these records. So when you want to know about God, you come back to the record that he gave. When you want to know about love, because I don't even think you know about love. What is love? Because you spoke about it earlier. What is love? Do you know?
A shared feeling between two individuals.
See, he said a shared feeling. So it's speaking that it's about an emotion. He's describing it as an emotion. That's what society teaches us, that love is like an emotion, a shared feeling. But this is what the Lord said love is. Read that.
1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God.
So if you want to find out how God sees precedes love. You come back to the record and read it. It says what?
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
That we do what?
Keep his commandments.
So if you're speaking about God and you want to know about love and how the Lord loves, it comes right back to the commandments that the Lord has given us. And it's simple. Because when you look at a parent and child relationship, a parent guides and nurtures the children, but they're going to give them rules and regulations to abide by, right? For the betterment of that child, for the safety of that child, for the education of that child, so that they can grow up and be, as we say in society, law-abiding citizens, right? But then they can go and be productive servants of the Most High. So this is what the Lord has put in the commandments that most people say we don't have to keep no more. So without the law, without the laws of God, we'd be in a chaotic state. You'd be free to go out there and commit adultery. You'd be free to go out there and be a murderer. You'd be free to go out there and be a homosexual. You'd be free to go out there and do a lot of the things and eat abominable foods and do abominable things. Worship idols, right? So this is when we come back and we say, even on the back of the dollar, in God we trust. The court systems have that. What God? You go and pray on the Bible. But we don't follow these same laws that the Lord gave us. We follow man's laws. That's the emotion that we've now come about. We don't want to deal with God's law. We want to deal with our own law. But the Lord says, this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. Not man's commandments, but his commandments. And that's why we have this setup. That's why we live in the world in which it is right now. It's all messed up. Drop that. Give me 2 Timothy 3:1. 2 Timothy 3:1. So without the love of God, this is the state or the environment that we're in now. Read that.
2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1. This known also, that in the last days.
That in the last days, that's what we're in right now. From the time that this was prophesied during the time of Christ and the apostles, it was prophesied about a time that we're in right now. Right? That in the last days, come on.
Perilous times shall come.
Perilous times shall come. And that's what we're in right now. All throughout the earth. Perilous times. Over in Europe, the banking system is falling. Yes. Right? Right now, even here in America, the banking system is not where it used to be.
Right.
The educational system is falling. The political system or structure is falling. Right? So what that has done, that has left us with perilous times. And what is the psyche or the mindset of the people? Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own self.
So men are going to be selfish, lovers of their own self. I got to get what I need to get for me. To hell with everybody else, right? I got to go rape, rob, and murder from everyone else to provide for me and mine. Regardless of it's wicked or evil, I got to do it because this is where I'm at right now. I'm in my own self, lovers of their own self. They come up with their own form of righteousness or government. They don't want to follow what the Lord set up that was in peace and harmony. The Lord's law is perfect, right? It dealt with everything. It dealt with a financial system. It dealt with an educational system, right? It dealt with a ceremonial system. It dealt with all these things, but man didn't want to keep it. So what happened? The Lord left us to our own ruin. He left us to our own ruin. Now look what we do, right? Now look what we do. We gotta sit and debate about, like how the brother asked earlier, we gotta sit and debate if homosexuality or lesbianism is lawful. Should we allow 2 women to marry or 2 men to marry? It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's just wicked as all hell. Give me Isaiah 9:16, I believe. Hold on, give me Isaiah 9:16 chapter. Right, so now, back when I was coming up in the 80s, you didn't have this as we see now. You didn't have 2 people just freely walking about as if it's nothing, right? But now the Lord says it's not going to be hidden anymore. I think it's Isaiah 9:16. No. I think it's 3:16. Nah, as far as for Sodom. They declare their sin as Sodom. I think it's 3:16. Go to the third.
That's the same as sodomy?
Yes, it is.
Which is what? Can you refresh me on what that is?
Right, Isaiah 3 and 9. I'm sorry, 3 and 9. Read that.
What is sodomy?
Sodomy is when someone goes into the rear end, your anal cavity.
What's in the
Two
book,
men
Dad?
goes into a man goes into another man's anal cavity. That's sodomy. When you read it in the Bible, in Genesis, during the time of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah, the storyline shows you that when the angels came in, men of the city wanted to come and get with these men, although they were angels. But because that was the thing that was going on, it was full of homosexuality or sodomy, as the Lord says it, right? And the Lord says that we shouldn't deal with sodomy, right? Even if you have a woman, a wife, you shouldn't deal with sodomy, right? That's not according to the Most High. The Most High has created a woman for a particular purpose, right? Not to go into her anal cavity. That's not lawful. But it says this in here. Read that Isaiah 9 and Isaiah 3 and 9.
Isaiah chapter 3 verse 9. The show of their countenance doeth witness against them.
It says the show of their countenance does witness against them. Just like how you seen those two women walking up just now. The Spirit had it. I didn't even know, but I just seen it right there. The Spirit had it where that they would just happen to be lesbians as I was speaking about things that were unlawful. But now as they began to walk and we began to read and expound on the truth, they didn't hide it. She turning around, sticking up her middle finger, laughing and everything, right? It says the